Welkom bij het Digitaal Fair Fashion Fest en deze week praat ik met allerlei internationale sprekers. And my guest today is Luciana Duarte from Ethical Fashion Brazil. Good day, Luciana. So happy to have you here. How are things going?
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. Good morning. Yeah, everything going well, getting better at the end of the year.
Just to make sure you're not in Brazil at the moment, right?
Yes, no, I am in the Netherlands. I'm living in The Hague.
And enjoying the lockdown in the Netherlands, as we say.
Yeah, but I can be sure, I can tell you that's so much better than in Brazil. Yeah.
Probably. I'm here to talk with you about the impact of the fashion industry, and especially if we think Brazil, we think the Amazon and the ecological impact of the fashion industry. How huge is the impact of the fashion industry on an ecological level?
Wow, this is a very good question, and I can answer this in so many criteria. Yeah. So thinking from the forest, that is what I research in my PhD. We can see that deforestation is increasing, even though we have some some fashion business there. So it's a very difficult thing to do business to run there, because you need to pay more people, and also it's very difficult to evaluate how is their work conditions.
Yes.
Because they are really deep into the forest, so we don't have so much control. Even for certifications, it's not like going to a factory.
No.
The local communities, they are the production units. So how you get to these locals, you need to get a boat, 2 days, 3 days in a boat, sometimes 5 days in a boat. Yeah, there's no electricity, no internet, so it's a total different world. But Brazil is one of the big players in the world, for textiles, for jeanswear, for many categories of fashion products. And of course, the industrial level is high. We have all the certifications for main factories there.
Yes.
But still there's a lot to improve. Of course, we have we have some people in conditions and similar to slavery. That people that came from Bolivia. So even in São Paulo, there is a big city like Bangkok, like New York. So even in a city this size, we have this type of production. So it's quite complex.
When we think on the topic of textile production and fashion, we know, or we think we know, the situation in Southeast Asia, and that's where we focus mainly textile production. But we don't think in a way to Latin America or Brazil in this case. But Brazil is a big player as well.
The fashion revolution movement, that you might be talking because of the accident in Rana Plaza, building. This also the documentary, The True Cost, it put too much attention in Bangladesh and Thailand and China, India, Pakistan, but then we didn't look at Latin America. It's like the main speakers, people that are articulating ethical and sustainable fashion in the world, fair trade, they look at through South Asia, and we have a similar situation there, but we didn't have an accident, or at least a famous accident. So that's why. So things are invisible, and everything that is invisible is very dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. And I do have to say, for people who didn't see The True Cost yet, it's also available during this program of the Fair Fashion Fest. Or you can always look it up. No worries. That's a very interesting documentary to talk about textile production and the fashion industry as well. And we forget, I mean, we were talking about Southeast Asia, we're talking about Latin America, but also African countries. Ethiopia is booming on textile production, for example. So it is a global problem, and it's a global production, and we cannot forget about that. We know about Southeast Asia because of a Rana Plaza accident, for example, indeed, but we may not forget other countries as well, of course. you've studied, or you're focused a lot on the Brazilian production and the connection with the Amazon, with forests, but also with people living in the Amazon.
Yeah.
How does this combine with a system where fast fashion is produced?
Very interesting. Because how we can define fast fashion? Yeah, I think you're talking about 20 collections per year. Yeah,
Yes,
but
correct.
yeah, but also we could understand in the case that I'm studying about a shoe company. I'm not saying the name, but their production increased so much, like 2 million pairs to 3 million pairs per year. It's a lot. So this also requires a lot of materials of rubber from the forest, and this puts some pressure in those communities. So and they don't want to pay more.
No, no,
So
of course.
we have this paradox that it's not fast fashion in the sense that the models, yeah, the collections are changing, yeah, quickly, but we have so much production that it is kind of yeah, it is another way to understand fast fashion in this sense. So it has an impact in these communities, of course, because
Absolutely.
I can say you a very clear reason of this impact and how it affects us. If you pay less than what's reasonable, what is enough for them, and we are talking about illiterate people, semi-illiterate people, they don't know how to write their own names. Um, well, why they're going to work for your company, why they're going to extract rubber, they're going to do other activities. And one of the most profitable, I mean the most profitable activity in the Amazon is to raise cattle. Yeah, so then we have what, deforestation.
Yes.
So that's how it works. We need to have business in the forest, but business that pay up. Yeah, so and we are facing this challenge. They want to pressure people that, yeah, don't know how to write their name. So
No, of course. And we'll hear another example also from Bangladesh later this week. But I really like the quote, we need the jobs, we need jobs, and we need to get paid for jobs, but we need the good jobs actually.
yeah,
We need a higher pay, we need a fair income for the labor that we are doing. And that's also the case, of course, for people in Brazil. So that's
yes. And it surprises me. I mean, because we are from these fields, from ethical and sustainable and fair fashion, so it surprises me that this is still a topic. I mean, and it's difficult to see what is fair trade there in the forest, because in the case that I'm studying, we look so much to improve the technology. It's easier to see how technology is getting better or gets worse, how the material is getting better or gets worse, that we don't look so much for how do you talk to these people, how do you present your methods of working process. So all these things, they are less important. I mean, how you connect with the other human being, yeah, and try to make him understand that he needs to take care of the forest, that you're going to pay more, etc. So all this is still it's blurred. It's not that it's invisible, it's blurred. It is there, but it's not that important as asking them to produce more and to don't cut the trees, even though I'm paying less. Like,
I'm very intrigued by what you're saying, Luciana, because you are making, in the case of Brazil, you're making the case of a crossroad, which we often forget, between the social impact and the ecological impact. And it seems to me that in Brazil, especially, those two aspects, those two elements of production come together, because you have a very large ecological impact, of course, on the country, but you also have the social component that is having a large impact on the local people and people living there. It is
yeah,
something that we sometimes forget, that there are different issues within a textile production and within the fashion
yeah,
industry, and it seems to be combined in Brazil. Well, the worst seems to be combined in Brazil.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think another point there. Then I think about the government also, the whole of the politics there, because we're talking about, yeah, again, people that don't know how to write their own names. Yeah, so what if they had a great education? What if they had access to this? Would they still be there in the forest? I don't think so. You know, indigenous people, they do belong to the forest. It's a completely different reality. But then people that can experiment the city, can experience a certain level of comfort, why they're going to come back to a place that they don't have internet, television, etc. We somehow, our bodies are so attached to these devices. Yeah, it's such a
Absolutely.
temptation. I can give another example in a favela, in a slum. I did some projects there for children, and the last project that my students in engineering did there was to create some toys for them to play, etc. And they didn't want it so much to play with the toys. They wanted to use the mobiles. So when you see many children in the favela that will have a poor education but attached to those, sorry to say the word, but yeah, not so smart, I would say stupid games. Yeah,
Yes.
so things that make you alienated. I think it also in these places, yeah, favela is a place that you have a completely different structure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
it happens. I don't know if it's so much in the media here in Europe, but it's kind of it's kind of a war that we have, for example, in Rio de Janeiro, in a favela and the rest of the city. Yeah, it's because of social inequality,
Of
and
course.
yeah. So violence also is a condition in not now not saying the forest. The forest is very peaceful. I'm going to say how much is not peaceful, but comparing to yeah, people in the cities, they also will become somehow in this condition of same slavery, yeah, a way of work. But yeah, but in the forest we have another problem that because we have farmers, yeah, that want to raise cattle, and they will try to kill people there. There's no people from the government to check now in local how much deforestation is happening. We have satellites, we have amazing softwares. The control of the Amazon is an example to the world. The high tech control, yeah, on the clouds. But local walking there, someone that does this is a suicide because it's like Texas with trees, yeah. So that's
Texas
the
with trees.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a no man's land. So in this sense, it's very dangerous,
Yes.
really. So you're talking about the remote areas that and fashion goes to these places, and they take advantage of these poor conditions. Of
Yes.
course, yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
You also wanted to talk about, Luciana, specific content is the sustainability strategies for fashion design. What do I have to think about the sustainability strategies for fashion design? What is
Oh,
that exactly?
oh, this is the core thing, the core topic in my life, really. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, we have like 12 strategies. I gave so many workshops and talks about these things. Yeah, the first strategies that companies, when a sustainable fashion company, sorry, when a normal fashion company decides, oh, I want to be sustainable. What am I
Mm-hmm.
going to do? The first thing that the company, the businessman, the businesswoman think is to use ecological materials. And ecological materials, it's an old strategy thrown in the history of design. It's from the 70s. In the 70s, we started to substitute normal materials with ecological materials. We had this kind of hippie people, but also raise the awareness about yeah, the environment.
Yes.
And then in the eighth, and then the second thing is to make the whole process, the production process, sustainable. Yeah. So sustainable is something that we avoid to use from the engineering perspective, because it means nothing. I came from engineering also. So
Okay.
yeah, what does this mean? This means for us to reduce, how much water do you use, how much energy do you use, and this is a core thing in engineering. You want to reduce costs. Yeah.
Yes.
So reduce the environmental impact, it's a benefit for the business also. So then this is the second thing. And in the eighth, in the history of design, we are going to think about the eco management of the products. So then it starts the idea of circular economy, very it's still very weak, but it's when we start to think, oh, we need to have reverse logistics. The material should come back to our company. But how to do this? In Brazil, this is still, and in many countries, this is still seen as a problem to solve, not as an opportunity to develop another business. Yeah. So then this is the second strategy. I mean, we don't have time to talk about all then, but to give some examples, another one, now coming more to the future, is like, oh, I need to have, it's always like something extra that you add to your plan of business. Yeah. To your business plan. Then I need to have some local community, a group of artisans. I don't know, I need to have something that is local, that means that is connected to the territory. And then, because it's fashion, sometimes you're going to develop a collection with a community, and it's just for a few seasons. Then you don't continue this. This is very common. I can say this is the main thing that happens in Brazil. And what happened? That community that was poor, like it had a very low income, it's received a little bit more, and we think, we all as human beings, we don't see so much life as ups and downs. We see more that once you are in a business, starting something, it will only grow, or it will have a certain stability or growth. Yeah. You avoid the decay as much as you can. This is the logic of capitalism, etc.
Yeah.
And our dream of this, treasure, endless treasure, I don't know. So what happens that this community that had a low income, now they have some money in their pockets, and what they're going to do? They're going to buy a fridge, they're going to buy a car, but they don't have all the money, so they're going to pay, in many checks, along the years. So, and then they don't have then fashion changes. They are not.
There's no income anymore.
There's no income anymore. But then you now you depend on a bank. So then your condition, you experiment a certain level of comfort. You think that, wow, this is good, it's good to have comfort. But now I need to come back to another level, and then my impression of my life, it's worse. Because I achieved a higher position, now I am in a lower position, worse than the one that I was before.
Yes.
So this is very tricky, how you have a responsibility with these communities. Also, we have another problem now, not a strategy, but a problem is that we look at these things like, we have many starters, many companies that start these projects, but we don't see so much projects that are there to maintain something. Oh, I'm going to create a business to go and maintain that other strategy, that other initiative that happened there. So there's this paradox. We all want to be the protagonist, the innovator, and this is the dream of modernity.
Yes,
we are always trying. We are always trying to put our logic of innovation, of technology there in some place, and there's a limit of all these things.
Absolutely.
It's a way of
there's an ecological limit, but there's also a social limit to these kind of things. Can I say, and I'm taking a risky course here, but is it a capitalist way of living where we still want to increase the growth, economic growth? Also, it is a common critique on the sustainable development goals, for example, that even in those development goals that should aim for a better planet, for better people, for a better world, a better future, even there we still have a goal that says we are going for sustainable growth, but we still are going for that economic growth, while we know that the resources aren't endless. We know the models, we know the schedules. Some resources will be done at a certain point, and we will be out of those resources. Is it linked to that capitalist model, or is that too risky to say?
Yeah, it's an amazing question. Yeah, because indeed, this is a great paradox. And one of the escapes for this, now we have a movement, at least in this universe that I am, we have a group of professors discussing this. They can be seen as idealistic, but people are discussing the degrowth. Yeah, we need to degrowth. Yeah,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
yeah, I can see in this case that I'm studying there in the Amazon. There are two famous French companies there, and it's not possible to keep increasing this way. Really, there is a
Mhm.
limit, and I think our society, I mean, the Earth is showing this, that there is this limit. We can feel, we can see in the air. Yeah, we can feel how much changed the climate for us, even though we think, oh, it's not that big deal. Yeah, it's just a little bit colder or warmer, but indeed it's changing. Uh, but yeah, so degrowth is a way of thinking, is an ideology. We need to have new ideologies to combat, yeah, this main thing that is this endless growth. It's not possible. Uh,
Absolutely.
we have, I mean, in science we work with two main scenarios. One is it's not me that is saying this, someone
Mhm.
else wrote this. So in design we see this, we have two main scenarios. One is the hyper technological scenario. So in this scenario we think that the population will only increase, and what can we do? Yeah, people should consume it, people should have more comfort. What we can do is to develop a production process, technology, materials that we can reduce the environmental impact. And indeed, we have many experiments, amazing things. I work in a laboratory, in a chemistry lab in Brazil, that the guys invented a material, industrial ceramic that can absorb carbon, yeah,
Okay.
dioxide
Yes.
of carbon,
Okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
and change, and it's like a leaf, yeah, but it's a ceramic, and then you have oxygen in return, and then this material is biodegradable. So you see, it's amazing. But so the scientists already invented many yeah, a lot of technology to solve the problem. But then we have another problem, that is, who is going to pay for this? Why the factories? Why? Because this was going to be used in the main oil industry in Brazil, and we also could use it in cars. Yeah, who is going to pay this? Because it's still expensive, and I can still do in the old and cheap way. Yeah, so we do have the technology in the name of science. Yes, the
Yes.
scientists invented many things to solve the problem, but now we need the businessmen, and then we need the government to pressure. I can give another example, but just to mention, yeah, we're facing this right now with the carbon credits markets for aviation. I had a student researching this, so I researched together as a consequence. And even here in Europe, it's still an issue. How the government, yeah, because we need to combine this with all the airplane, all the aircraft companies. Who is going to pay for this to
Yes.
reduce their impact? So it's
Yes.
still in discussion, yeah. And then you have a lobby here and lobby there. How to, yeah, how to make this interesting for everyone. So it's a broader thing. We do have technology, but then we need
Yes.
to find people to invest on this thing. And coming back to fashion, yeah, one problem that like
we're making a big circle here, but coming back to fashion now.
Coming back to fashion, because it's a bigger problem, but coming back to fashion, once Stella McCartney said something like, it was a provocation. She said, yeah, because the fashion industry is still very medieval. And it is medieval in the sense that we're still there, men are there in the sewing machines, yeah. So like just one, yeah, like one just more element, but it's still so difficult to do all these beautiful embroideries, etc., without the human touch, yeah. And the luxury business, they are based in the artisans, in the human touch. So how can you still have the human touch, but yeah, paying something that's worth for this human touch, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we face these things. And the other scenario, because I said two scenarios, the hyper tech and the other is the hyper social. That is the one that we two, at least we are, yeah. It's to reduce, it's to talk more about these things, it's to consume less, to avoid eating meat, yeah, many things that make this lifestyle, it's a complete lifestyle that you lead by your own example. I'm going to do things in a different way. I don't agree with what I'm seeing here. So I am my movement. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. One final question, Luciana, because we're already running out of time, unfortunately. Because I could talk to you a whole day like this. It would be great to have this kind of discussions on an every day. Do you see the fashion industry changing? Do you see the last couple of years you've been busy with sustainable fashion for some time now? Do you see a change also with the big brands or the whole system? Is it changing as it should, or are we not that hopeful?
Your question is exactly the same that 2 days ago a journalist from Vogue Business, the international Vogue Business, asked me, and I'm going to reply the same thing.
Thank God. Imagine I would say two different things though.
I didn't change my mind in 2 days.
Luckily.
But indeed it's changing, but I can see that I mean, we have a technology changing slowly, but it's what changes a lot. I can see from the moment that I started to research these things in 2007, is that the awareness raised. So we have more people discussing, more young fashion design students, young entrepreneurs that wants to embody it and embed it, all these ideas in this new business, what they want to consume, they are creating. So in this sense, this young generation, they are more aware, and in this sense I can see also that we have a more fashion courses discussing these topics, so the awareness raise it, which is something, yeah. It's a big deal.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's a start.
So society is changing. We can see at least this is more broader in education, the education level, and with young entrepreneurs. But of course, and then of course the main companies, now adding something to this answer, like of course the main companies, Zara, H&M, they develop their own lines, of organic tea, etc., as a way to don't be that bad, so they are competitive, and also they create their own institutes for sustainable fashion. So
but is that because they also feel the pressure coming from bottom up? I mean, there's I believe there's not a top-down change, but there is certainly a bottom-up approach. Consumers, people who are interested, designers, people working in the industry that want to change. I think that is the movement that is.
Because we started, they of course they are not naive. They control. If I myself, I control everything that appears with my name and Ethical Fashion Brazil, I can imagine those companies how much they control whatever people are talking about then. And suddenly with the true cost and fashion revolution movement that put more voice, echoed more this topic. They reacted. They were not, oh no, it's not with us. These people, they're talking whatever. No, it is with them, and they reacted. But it is still not enough. I mean, it's more for us to see that it's not that bad, but but we have stories about production systems in ships in the middle of the ocean. Like, man, this is so unbelievable.
Wow.
So
wow.
so it's crazy. The situation is worse that we come to know. And you listen from one of your friends that worked to another company and this and that, and there is something that is happening that it's explicit to our eyes, this fashion system, this main fashion system, it doesn't respect people at all.
No. But to conclude, Luciana, we have to believe in the change. We are fighting the same battle, so let's unite once again, together with all the other people who are watching this, and also the people who I talked to this week, and all the other ones who are in the panels during this Fair Fashion Fest, of course. I think we have a lot of people combining forces, and that is what has to give us hope for a change.
Yes, like once someone said, all designers are optimistic. Because we do believe that we can change. So as I am a product designer, I am an optimistic, and I do think there is a solution. I'm gonna do my small thing here. Talk a little bit, do something small, but still I am alive and doing this thing. So it's very important to see that everything that you're doing, even if it's small, it's still part of a bigger process. So so in this sense, be optimistic.
Small optimistic baby steps, and it's our moral duty to be optimistic. So let's continue to take those small steps. It was a pleasure talking to you, Luciana. It's
my pleasure.
Always fun to see you and hear your story. I hope we can invite you in 2 years to the city of Ghent when we have physical meetings and events again, and we'll have an extra Fashion Fest in 2022. Maybe we'll see each other then in real life. I would be happy to show you around in the city of Ghent. And in the meantime, take care and keep up the good job, and talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
We were launched in the summer of 2013. So we were actually founded.
Mensen zouden echt gekleed zijn volgens hun identiteit. En bovendien